All right, we're back for another episode of Fresh Out of College. Since there is no sports going on, we decided to change things up, and we're going to be talking about foods and kind of reflect back on 2005. So let's get into it.
Okay, so I want to introduce our guest, Willie Keeler. Willie and I went to elementary school way back in the day. He lives in Pittsburgh now, went to UP, and he's been doing a little bit of sports writing. So how's it going? Tell us a little bit about your writing.
Yeah, so it's been pretty awesome. So I'm writing for 12th Man Rising. Currently, Seattle Seahawks blog website for Fansided. So they're at 12th Man Rising on Twitter. I'm at WT Keeler 24 on Twitter. So give my stuff a look.
Since there is no sports going on right now, we're gonna give you a little quiz, Willie, about the origins of the food that we're gonna bring in 3 foods, and it's gonna be 2 truths, 1 lie. So you're just gonna have to pick out the food that is the outlier, that did not originate from this country. So do you want to start us off with Canada? Or wait, start Belgium.
Yeah, we'll start with Belgium first.
I feel like I got this.
You got
Canada and Belgium. I feel like I got this.
So waffles.
I love food.
Waffles is one option. Ice cream is another option. Then mussels and fries.
This is Belgium, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so there's a Belgian restaurant at
oh my gosh,
that my parents love, right near my house. Okay. And they have mussels and frites, which is like mussels and fries. I'm gonna go with mussels and fries as one of the truths. The problem is, I feel like you're tricking me with the waffles, because there's Belgian waffles or anything, and I feel like if you're gonna try to trick me, it's not gonna be Belgium. But ice cream, I feel like was just I think I have to go waffles. So I'll go waffles and the mussels.
Yeah, pretty darn good.
That is correct.
We thought there's
I had a cheat code. So.
There's controversies on, where fries originated from. Like they say Belgium invented fries and then the French took it and called it French fries. So we thought that would maybe trick you with the mussels and fries, but if you've been to a Belgian restaurant, that's
wow.
The
waffles originated.
Fries there. So,
yeah.
And waffles there.
But ice cream is from, well, we don't really know, but they think ancient China.
Yeah.
So, I feel like everything's from ancient China.
It's a huge country, so yeah.
Yeah.
You might see a trend here. All right, so the next country is going to be Canada. So, all right, you have butter tart. I
don't even know what that is.
You have poutine, and then pudding. So what's your guess?
All right, this one's a lot harder, I'll tell you that. I've been to Canada once.
See, we thought you went to Canada more. We didn't think you were
went to Belgium or stuff like that. I've been to Toronto once. Somehow I know Belgium a million times better. Oh man. Well, poutine, that has trick question potential, but I feel like poutine's from Canada. What was the last one again?
Pudding.
I feel like pudding's too old to be from Canada, so I'm gonna go with the butter tart and
poutine.
Poutine.
You're right. Pudding is the one from UK.
Yeah,
nice. I wanted to sneak that in there.
Yeah.
It must have been a good test taker.
Too old. Oh yeah, I was a big educated guess guy.
All right, Ryota, give him the last one.
The last country is Korea. Not specifically north or south. They just named it as Korea. I think their cuisine's pretty similar. But so your options are bibimbap, blast noodles, and honey butter chips. Which one is not from Korea?
What was the first one?
Bibimbap.
Bibimbap.
Yeah, or did I say?
Yeah. Well, there's a Korean restaurant in Pittsburgh that we go to. And my mom likes the bibimbap. So that when I'm on a very lucky roll here with these cultures. And then is Korea kind of like Japan where they have a bunch of crazy snacks?
Yeah, because
Japan,
I think you say that with a lot of Asian countries. They're pretty innovative.
Okay, I know Japan's the one where they have a million flavors of like Kit Kats, right?
Mhm,
Like,
right,
and
yeah.
they have like the second. What was the second one?
Glass noodles, just like a translucent noodle, basically.
That feels like Vietnamese. I don't know why. It just seems like a Vietnamese or like Taiwanese thing. I don't know why. I'm gonna go with the bibimbap and the chips.
Wow, he scored
Wow.
3 for
perfectly.
3.
You need to go. You need to go to a casino later today.
Wow.
That's where I
Glass
left.
noodles
That's
were
just
from
like,
China, so
if it
Oh
were
my
from
gosh.
like if it were Vietnamese, that actually would have been pretty wild. That I just nailed it.
yeah. But I
It
mean,
just seemed like
Unreal.
like if you have like pho,
Unreal.
it's like translucent. So.
yeah, exactly. That would have been a good guess. But I think pho, I mean, has some Chinese origins too, probably because they're all so close together.
Probably,
But
yeah.
well, it's your lucky day, Drew. Let's get into the next one.
3,
Oh
let's
my
go.
gosh. Okay. Well, we'll. I mean, I thought we made that as hard as possible.
We had
I
a
wouldn't
tough
have got the
time.
last one. The
The
chips.
Belgian one really threw you for a loop there. And then when I pronounced bibimbap for you,
Yeah, then I knew it was
that's when you
over.
knew you were going back.
All right, let's hop into what happened in 2005. We picked 2005 because we just did. Not much thought one is that, but yeah, do you guys have anything that happened during this time that we can reminisce about?
I can start.
Yeah.
So the World Series, the two teams competing were the Chicago White Sox. I didn't even know they were still in MLB. And then the Houston Astros, which I guess used to be
Wow,
good,
of course.
which I didn't remember. Well, I did remember, but it's kind of as a joke.
It was like the red, black, and gold Houston Astros.
Exactly. Yeah, it was
The
the old
National
unis.
League.
Yeah.
Oh,
Houston
I didn't
Astros.
even. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, you're
That
right.
was
The
the
White Sox.
triple. That was the triple Bs. That was the triple Bs. I'm pretty sure. Bagwell, Biggio, and
Mm-hmm.
Berkman. I think.
Yep. So the
I
starting
don't know if they were a little bit earlier.
the starting lineup for the White Sox was
Yeah.
Scott Podsendik in center, Tadahito Iguchi from Japan, Jermaine Dye, who won the MVP, Paul Konerko.
Jermaine Dye was an MVP.
Yeah, he won MVP that year, or that for the World Series.
Oh, okay.
Paul Konerko at first, Carl Everett, Aaron Rowland, Brzezinski, Creedy, and
I was
Uribe.
about to say.
And then
Wow.
the pitchers.
Brzezinski and Konerko, only one I can think of.
Yeah, they had. I mean, that was a really good team, and the pitchers were even better. Jose Contreras, Mark Burley, when he was really, really, in his prime. John Garland, Freddie Garcia, and Bobby Jenks out of the pen. And then we have the Astros, Craig Biggio, Willie Taveras, Berkman, Ensberg, Mike Lamb, Bagwell. So Bagwell's hitting like 7th or 6th. So this was like kind of toward his, he wasn't his prime anymore.
Mhm.
Jason
like
Lane, Brad Osmus, and Adam Everett. Pitchers, Roger Clemens, Andy Pettit, Oswalt, Brandon Backay, and Brad Lidge in the pen.
Wow. Oswald, I remember Oswald.
Oswald was one of those like funky pitchers, right?
Yeah.
But he was really successful during his time too. But
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then Mark Burley going like 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are some really good teams if you look back at it.
I mean,
coached the White Sox. Yeah.
The rookies, to put it into perspective, was Justin Verlander, Dustin Pedroia, Jason Vargas, Dexter Fowler, Ian Desmond, and Hunter Pence, to name a few rookies.
Wow.
Dexter Fowler's like the low key, like most like low key old guy like in the league. Like it's really like I remember when it hit me was when because he was on the Rockies and I kind of remember that, but, he was on the Rockies for a lot longer than like people think. Like it was 2005, and then I remember it was something like he signs that deal with the he goes from like Cubs to Cardinals. I forget if he went Cubs to Cardinals or Cardinals to Cubs. And then it was they signed 34-year-old free agent Dexter Fowler. Wait a second, like what? Like Fowler just started to like really get like good at hitting. So I got really confused. He's like a good outfielder with the Rockies, but he wasn't like that great at hitter. So it really confused me when I saw that.
The Mariners draft with the third pick, Jeff Clement, this catcher who doesn't play a single game.
Yeah,
one of the bigger busts in team history, but. Whatever. It's not like they had like Andrew McCutchen in this draft either, which they did. But Ryan Zimmerman.
That was, but like 2005, that was one of like was Belcher there yet? Like I feel like those are like the fun kind of Mariners teams, just like
yeah. I mean,
My
I
dad had
think.
season tickets, and like that was like, was Jojima there yet? And like
Let's see. I'll
Kenji.
fact check real quick.
Yeah, you
2005
fact check
Mariners.
that, but
Big Richie.
I think Sexton must have been there.
right.
2005. So that's like Ichiro's 4th or 5th year, right?
2001, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5th year.
So the manager's Mike Hargrove.
Yeah.
Uniski Betancourt. Do you guys remember him?
I mean, of course.
We had Willie Bloomquist still.
Willie. That's my favorite player just because his name was Willie.
Yeah. Shin-Soo Choo was 22.
Oh, wow.
It was
Before he goes to Texas.
Rookie Shin-Soo Choo.
Eddie Gordado. Do you guys remember him out of the pen?
Oof. Yeah.
Was
Felix was 19. Shigetoshi Hasagawa out of the pen. Raul Ibanez. Jose Lopez, 21.
Jose Lopez.
Gil Mesh. Mike Morse. Gosh.
Oh my gosh. I think my two favorite memories from like those early Mariners team before I moved to Pittsburgh in 2007 was the second one. I just like when you say like Felix being 19, I just remember we were at the airport coming back from somewhere. I don't remember where it was, but I just remember we're in the airport. And my dad's like telling me like, yeah, the Mariners are bringing up this 19-year-old kid. He's like our top prospect. He's going to be really good for all these years. Felix Hernandez. And I was like, oh, like that's like so cool. We got to go to the game. And I don't think his first start was in Seattle. I think he was like on the road, but then we went and saw one of his first starts. And it was like really cool because he was like 19. Yeah. And then now I kind of feel like I think they just like overworked him because like that's when you talk about old guys and Dexter Fowler. Felix is like a low key young guy. He's like 32, and he's like looks like he's like 40 because they started pitching when he was 19. That same thing happened with like Urias on the Dodgers. They had to move him to the 10 because like his arm just started giving out.
Yeah.
But nothing is a better memory than. Do you guys remember Jeff Cirillo? The total bust of a third baseman that they had before Beltre. They gave him a whole bunch of money. And then I don't remember how long his contract was, but he's only there for like 2 years. But my dad's friend's financial advisor was Jeff Cirillo's like agent or financial advisor, something like that. So I got to go to Jeff Cirillo's house in like Bellevue.
It was, like, I think I remember you telling me this story. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the funniest thing because it's just Jeff Cirillo's house. I have like a Jeff Cirillo autographed ball in my room, and like he had like a batting cage in his basement. It was so sweet, but it's just like the most like Mariners guy ever. Like, yeah, I've been in Jeff Cirillo's basement. Just like a fun fact like that. For huge Mariners fans, it's just gonna be like a great thing to say like one day.
That's almost like saying Sean Figgins, and then we see how that works out.
We don't talk about those days though.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so a little bit more of that, like the MLB state. This was the first year that the Los Angeles Angels were the Los Angeles Angels before they were just the Anaheim Angels.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
This season involved no hitter pitched, so pretty cool. That hasn't happened since. Let's see. Alex Rodriguez won the AL MVP. Pujols won the NL MVP.
Okay.
Ryan Howard was the Rookie of the Year.
Oh, okay.
AL Rookie of the Year was Houston Street. Man,
wow,
that's crazy.
What team was he on? Was he on Oakland?
He was on the A's.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I think but pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah. Oh,
and then Sean Figgins led the Los Angeles Angels with 62 stolen bases.
Jeez. Oh my God.
Pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, so that was kind of baseball. And then does anybody else like? I mean,
we should talk about the Super Bowls.
Yeah, Super Bowl.
NFL.
Go for, yeah.
So
NFL's.
Right. So obviously the NFL season's not in 1 year. It's not in one specific year. So the 04-05, the Super Bowl happened in 05, but from the 04 season was Patriots-Eagles. Patriots beat the Eagles 24-21. Guess who the MVP was?
The MVP?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, they didn't win.
Patriots won. He later became a Seahawk. If that might give it away.
Oh, why am
D
I going
Yeah,
blank?
yeah,
Branch.
yeah,
Dion Branch?
yeah. Dion Branch.
Branch.
Yeah, that was one of my first Seahawks jerseys I ever got. Dion Branch jersey. But yeah, he won MVP. Then later became a Seahawks that year after. Patriots
Now
had
you got me
Kevin
thinking about
Falk.
what my first Seahawks jersey was.
Yeah, exactly. This was a time when like I started watching football. You know, yeah,
Well, I have a question for you
Vinatieri.
guys. I have a question for you guys too, but like
Mhm.
after you discuss this, because like I was discussing with my friend, but I finished your report.
Patriots had, let's see, Rodney Harrison, Richard Seymour, Teddy Bruschi,
Teddy
Vinatieri was
wow.
there, Mike Vrabel, the Titans coach.
Oh
He
my
played
gosh,
linebacker for
that's
them.
pretty funny.
The Eagles,
That's like
I
young
mean,
Mike
everyone
Vrabel at that point.
knows. They had T.O., McNabb. They had some other guys that they named, but they weren't familiar to me, like Javon Curse, Corey Simon, Jeremiah Treader, Brian Dawkins. But
Wow,
Hawkins, yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So first off, I think I had a blue. I think blue Sean Alexander was my first one, and then I got a white Matt Hasselbeck. Those were like when I was like kindergarten-ish age, when you and I were running around causing havoc at Bryant.
yeah.
So the question that I had for you guys, because it's like really interesting because you like think about like guys that we're remembering. Me and my friends were talking about a few weeks ago. What's your guys' first like sports memory, like watching a game? Not at it, because like that might make it unfair, because maybe you might remember like when you're like 4 at like a Mariners game or something like that. But what's your first memory of just like watching a game on TV? Because mine's like pretty relevant here.
Oof. Okay, my first one. It had to have been that Husky game. I think it was either. Okay, well, I remember when I was young and the Husky football team was terrible.
Oh, of course.
Just straight terrible. And I remember, like, this is like the Huskies went 0-12, and I remember when I was young, we've had season tickets for a while now, but usually the games were empty, like straight empty, like there wasn't anybody there. So I remember when I was young, and I know you said like don't bring it back to when like you went to the game, but I just remember just like distinctly that there was like no fans there, and we had like 3 or 4 like levels or like rows to ourselves, and I was like 6 years old or 7, and it's just wild because like I went through like when they were really really bad with like just, and then you get like Jake Locker, and then he brings you to like a bowl game for the first one, and you go like 6-6, and then you go into like the Chris Peterson era. So it's like I think that sticks with me the most because I just went through it like the whole transition. But yeah, I mean, what that's tough. That's a tough one.
I'll give you kind of like, if it's like a hint to kind of like maybe spark your memory. The crazy one, I was like going back through and just trying to remember like what I do remember, and I realized the one that I do remember specifically, which is like so weird, is that Seahawks Rams wild card game in 2005. It was the 2004 season. It was the year before we went to the Super Bowl. And the Seahawks Rams. I just remember like everything about it. I just remember like the Seahawks in all blue, the Rams were wearing like gold pants and the white jerseys. Like, and then like I remember that last play. I remember like I was rewatching it because like I just remembered everything. It was like the first time I just really remembered everything so vividly. I remember it was the one where Hasselbeck throws like this like sidearm dart to Ingram in the end zone, and he drops it. And then I remember they like show Hasselbeck on the TV, just like laying on the ground, like hands overhead, and all the Rams are going around. I just remember everything so vividly from that, and that's like really like my first true like sports memory. Like I honestly can't really remember that Eagles like Patriots Super Bowl, but like that on TV, everything just stuck with me. And then some friend, I could literally just like remember, like I remember like everything on after that. But then like in terms of like memories of like going to a game, I have like some like just memories of going to like Mariners games. I don't specifically remember it, but 2005 in terms of like being a really good year. I'm sure you guys will remember this too. It was the one year that the Sonics went to the playoffs. And so
it was the last time.
Yeah. And so
Ray Allen.
And so Ryota, you right? No, and I think Ray was there for 2000. like I think he's there 05, 06.
Yeah,
Then they traded him.
right.
I think Rashard Lewis might have been gone, but I think like Allen stayed for one more year, and then there was one more year, and then they drafted KD. But so I think Ryota, you might remember this. Do you remember that? Like I won a contest to get tickets in a suite at the Sonics game for the game one against the Kings in the playoffs.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I won like a contest for being like big Sonics fan on FSN Northwest, and so yes, my dad and I got to go, and like we were in this suite, and it was so cool. And that was like the only playoff NBA game I've ever been to. And
that's insane.
After I moved here, I hadn't been to an NBA game until I went to Giannis against LeBron in Cleveland. It was like a 2-hour drive. I hadn't been to an NBA game. It was probably like, it was probably like 2007 is probably the last time I went. But I just like those are the 2005 for me was like the year when I started remembering everything, and like it was the first Super Bowl that I kind of remember. But yeah, that Rams playoff game, just the most random like vivid memory, because like all my friends here, we were talking about it, and theirs are all the AFC Championship game against the Patriots, because apparently the Steelers were in it that year. I think it must have been Big Ben's rookie year.
It was, yeah.
Like there, and so like and I was just like, and then I was just like trying to remember, and I was like, I don't think it was the Super Bowl, and then I was like, oh my god, that Rams Seahawks game was so devastating. I just remember being like so sad of like this like 6-year-old kid or whatever. Oh man, that was so 2005, not a bad year.
Not a bad year. I mean, so what we already said before was that the season goes. So I'll also talk about the 2005-2006 season, just because that was like the gist of the season, and this was also the season that Sean Alexander tied the touchdown record. I think he had 27 or 28 touchdowns. He was unreal. He won MVP, and I think he beat out Peyton Manning that year. But that was a crazy year because that was also the Pittsburgh Seahawks year. So I mean, there was terrible officiating either way.
And that was the one that I was going to talk about that I remember. I mean, I think I was watching the game live. I can't remember if it was a highlight or not, but that was the one like I was watching. I got very mad when they, Roethlisberger's helmet, whatever, across the line. I mean, that was one of the moments that I remember. But
yeah, that was. I mean, and I didn't even know it at the time. But you were, like you said, Roethlisberger was a rookie, so like now we have to deal with him for ages.
How old were we? Because that was like February 2006. So
about 9.
8?
Yeah.
8 or 9, yeah.
8 or 9.
Most people were 8.
Unreal game. But I mean, also just the Seahawks had a great team, and I'm surprised they didn't go to as many Super Bowls or whatever as they were supposed to. I don't know. Also, just to finish this off, Steve Smith came back, and this was the year he won the Triple Crown in receiving. He led him in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. So he was a beast. But yeah,
was he on the Panthers?
He was drafted. He was drafted to the Panthers, and then I think he went to where did he go? He went to Baltimore after that, right? I think so. And then he went back to the Panthers. But he was great, and he was also short. He wasn't the tallest guy either. He was one of my favorite players. But yeah, do you want to go into the NBA?
Yeah.
The Spurs, San Antonio Spurs swept the Detroit. Or no, sorry.
I think 4-1.
Yeah, San Antonio Spurs won the NBA Finals, but the Pistons were defending champions. So,
I'm looking at the roster and like
that Pistons team is like that was like the first. That was when like Kobe and Shaq teamed up, and then Shaq went to Miami, and then like that was really when like these not like super teams, but really like partnering 2 superstars together was kind of like a big thing, and Shaq was unstoppable. And then that really we haven't had a team like that Pistons team since that really good Hawks team. That
the Paul Millsap one,
swept by LeBron. But like that Pistons team was just like. Because it was insane. Because I remember looking at the stats. Because my dad and I were watching Pistons Lakers, that NBA Finals. It was that Lakers team that they had like. It was the dumbest thing ever. It was like Gary Payton was like their starting point guard, like 39 years old, and Karl Malone was on the bench, but he was hurt like the whole season because he was like falling apart. He was like 40, and it was just Kobe and Shaq, and then a whole bunch of guys like you like just don't remember. It's like it was like the total old NBA thing, where like I just like remember like you'll go into like 2K and you'll play with like classic teams, and you'll be like,
Mhm.
oh, I remember that classic team. They were so good. Like you'll play with like the '97 Bulls or something, and it'll be like Jordan Pippen Rodman. And then other than that, the whole bunch of guys are like 60 something overall. And you're like, wait, really? Like, what? Like, it's like totally NBA has changed. But that Pistons team was really the first. Like, that's like a specific one I remember where like everyone was like really good. They had like 4 All Stars. All 5 of their starters were like really good because it was like Billups and Prince but like none of their guys
Bosses.
were like superstars. I don't think they had anyone averaging like 20 points or something like that. Everyone just had a role. Like Wallace was like their Dennis Rodman guy. He averaged like 8 points and like 12 rebounds a game. And yeah, I just remember that team like I don't know. It's just like the way I think about sports. Like other people remember Malice in the Palace. I remember them as just being like that team that was just like so good all around. And then obviously everyone went their separate ways because they can't afford to keep everybody because everyone wanted like star contracts because they had like the 5 great players. But it was a lot like that it just reminded me of that Hawks team that like people thought might do something because they had 4 All Stars and no real superstars.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was like that NBA year. That was like, and then of course Sonics lost to the Spurs in second round, I think that year.
I was gonna bring up the Malice in the Palace because that's what I remember distinctly is Ron Artest, I think, just went into the stands and kind of made his name, and then he changed his name a few years later,
Of course.
which is pretty funny and ironic thinking back to it. But Dwight Howard was a rookie this year. I don't know how he didn't win Rookie of the Year. I think it was I don't think he won Rookie of the Year. We have to fact check it, but I'm pretty sure he got beat out by Okafor or something. I don't know, but yeah, Emeka Okafor.
On the Bobcats.
Yep. It was Okafor.
It was Okafor. Okay. Dwight Howard was like he was insane that year, and I don't know.
He was insane like every year, really.
Steve Nash signed with the Suns again, so a little bit of a reunion, and then he ends up winning MVP. He goes on to win another one, but this was kind of like the 7 seconds or less. Do you guys remember that the Phoenix Suns, where they like before this time it was like the teams weren't averaging as many points. It was kind of more slow paced, and then you have this coach in D'Antoni, who is now everybody knows about him because of Houston, but he like that team could get the ball off super quick. They were shooting threes at an alarming rate. They were like the Golden State Warriors of today, but they were insane. Allen Iverson, my guy, he led the league in points with 30. So shout out to him.
A funny thing about that Suns thing is that like I'll plug something that's like not mine. So I've been listening since like during quarantine to the podcast, just like hours and hours a day. And one that's been really cool is like every week on the Dan Le Batard show, they do like a local hour where they'll have like a guest. It used to be like Miami-based guests, but now they have just like random people during quarantine. And then one of their producers just like has them like tell stories. And so they have Amin El-Hassan on from ESPN, who used to be like the Suns like scouting director. And so he was there during all that, and he was there during like the Shaq years and Amari and like for that. And the stories from the Suns team are crazy. So like I definitely recommend giving that a listen, just like reminiscing about 2005. Like the stories about those like Steve Nash and then like Shaq coming, like Shaq like being like they're hilarious, and it's like how like Shaq was like a huge prankster, and he was all these inside, there's just stuff that he can't even talk about because it was just like so like like Shaq was like doing such like disgusting pranks. It's like I would definitely recommend giving that a listen. It's like crazy to just like hear about things that you'd never expect and just learn about the random, mid 2000s Phoenix Suns team.
That was definitely a team. This was also the last year Reggie Miller was in the league, so pretty They then drafted, I think, Danny Granger with that pick. Or maybe that was another year, but I think Danny Granger then comes into the mix, kind of as the replacement. But Reggie Miller, man, a lot of good times. Do you have anything else you want to go into?
In 2005, let's get into a little bit of pop culture outside of sports, So the Grammys, 47th Grammy Awards were hosted by Queen Latifah. Record of the year was a song I've actually never heard of until yesterday. Record of the year was "Here We Go Again" by Norah Jones and Ray Charles. Album of the year went to Ray Charles, which that song was in Genius Loves Company. Song of the year was "Daughters" by John Mayer, which I think all of us are familiar with. No? You never heard it, Willie?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm a John Mayer fan, so I listen to that song a lot. But Best New Artist was Maroon 5 in 2005.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and look at them now.
Super
everyone knows them.
Wow.
Best Dance Recording was "Toxic" by Britney Spears. I think everyone knows that one.
Yeah, the music video. I remember that.
I remember that in 2K, I think. Or not there was definitely some sport game that had
NBA
that.
Live.
NBA Live.
NBA Live. Yep, I remember that.
It was like
NBA Live.
It's weird.
That's how I got acquainted with that song.
Oh yeah, that was like I remember that soundtrack when I got into that was like, and they had like hip hop and rap on it, and like that's when I like really it was like NBA 06, NBA Live 06 or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember playing that, and I was like, wow, this Toxic song is pretty cool. And they had some like other songs. I think they had I forget what they had, but
I think they had Countdown. I don't know. It was great. That's how I remember that song.
I think they had some like Dr. Dre on it, and I was just like I like this Dr. Dre guy. I never heard of him before. Like this, just like because you're like 8 or 9 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think how much of an influence video games have on us. Like, the reason why I became an Arsenal fan is because of a video game. When I got FIFA 06 or something on the Wii, the first team that always pop up was Arsenal, and I didn't really know soccer back then besides the Sounders. So I just ended up liking Arsenal's because it's an A. That was the first letter in the alphabet out of all the teams.
There we go.
So I became an Arsenal fan. But
same thing. I just remember I just thought Wayne Rooney and Ronaldo were cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd literally never heard of them until I got FIFA 06 or 7. Or
right, and they're all the cover and stuff.
And I like Man U. But then that. Yes, I really like Man U. I think the first year I lived in Pittsburgh, I think I was Wayne Rooney for Halloween. But then I don't know, I just kind of stopped caring that much about them. But then what it really turned into, which has now turned into a trend for me, every year I do it when I get FIFA, is then I just really started liking Crystal Palace because I thought they were just cool. I thought the name was cool, and then I really loved Wilfred Zaha and Yannick Bolasie, and they were cheat codes on FIFA. They were both 73 overall on FIFA, but I would do a career mode with Crystal Palace every year because it would just be kind of fun to take this not very good team to the top, and then I just became Crystal Palace fan. I just liked Crystal Palace, and so totally the same thing with video games.
Yeah,
the way that works.
Yeah, I mean, it's sometimes it's really fun to cheer for the underdogs. I mean, in the NBA, for example, I totally have respect for the Utah Jazz, who they're a good team. They're always top 5, but they're not as respected as, I don't know, the Lakers or the Clippers per se. And and the same thing with Leicester and the English Premier League. They're just, I mean, they're going to make the Champions League this year most likely. And Wolves are 7th place. Where did that come? And those are fun teams to always cheer on. And going back to 2005, so in terms of the Champions League, Liverpool won that year. And, Liverpool recently won the English Premier League.
Was that Istanbul year?
What's that?
Was that Istanbul year when they were down?
Yes, yeah. And they beat AC Milan in PKs. Obviously, Drew won't know a lot of these players, but I'm sure some will sound familiar. But the AC Milan team, I'm not calling out Drew. I'm just saying, because I'm just saying. Look at listen to these names in the Milan starting lineup: Crespo, Jvenko, Kaká, Pirlo, Seedorf, Gattuso, Maldini, Nesta, and Stam.
No,
Liverpool, the only names I recognized were Jamie Carragher, Xabi Alonso, and Steven Gerrard. That's all I knew. They had Jimmy Traore too, but I mean, he's not a super famous player.
Wasn't their goalie good?
Dudok, or was it the Milan goalie? Can't remember.
Was Kaká? Did he play for Brazil? or was that a different?
Yes. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Drew, good. Kaká,
Well, yeah,
Kaká's that Brazilian star, and he
Yeah.
won the Ballon d'Or cup once or twice or 3 times. I don't know.
Say.
But
Yeah,
that
I
Milan
remember that.
team, like, look at that lineup. It's just crazy.
Seedorf was old, but like I remember. Yeah, Seedorf, Pirlo, Kaká. But then like there's some other like Maldini and stuff. You're just like forget about it. Like, geez, that team's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy that the
Oh
game.
my God.
So what happened was Milan was leading 3-0 in the first half. They blew a 3-0 lead. Liverpool scored 3 goals within 6 minutes. It was like the 54th, 56th, and the 60th minute.
That's unreal.
And then I think it's like a big deal because for the first time since then, they're having it in that like Istanbul like Olympic Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
The Champions League, or it was supposed to be this year, so still supposed to happen in August. But yeah, like that was so I feel that was like a big deal for like Liverpool people that wanted to go back.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in Istanbul. I don't remember if it's this year or next year. I think it might be. I feel like this year's not there, but I don't remember.
This year it's in Portugal, the Champions League final, I think.
I don't remember. I just remember like one of these next 3 years, like there, like Liverpool people are like all obsessed with it.
Oh, gotcha. And let's see, Drew. Anything else for 2005 you have?
Yeah, Guitar Hero first released season 1 of How I Met Your Mother.
Oh wow!
Batman Begins, The 40-Year-Old Virgin with Steve Carell, Wedding Crashers. Let's see, the Xbox 360 first released.
Wow!
And YouTube was created.
Yeah, nice.
So
I remember too. Because like Drew, I don't know if you're from like right in Seattle. I mean, it doesn't really matter because like I don't know like where people live, but like I remember, Ryota, do you remember how like there was like a kid or two at Bryant where like their parents worked for Microsoft, and I don't remember who it was, but it was like it had to have been like 2nd grade or something like that. I just remember going to someone's house because they got Halo before it released. It was like a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
And this must have been like 2004 or 5 or something like that. And it was like we weren't allowed to play because we were like too young, but like we were like watching like the older brother play because we were like, oh, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. It's like the biggest game coming out and playing because it was made by Microsoft.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was like the most random thing, but just like a total Seattle thing. Like people knew like someone who like worked for Microsoft, so you got like the inside on all that. Mm-hmm. Like Xbox coming out, probably got it for like free and stuff.
Uh-huh. That was I definitely kind of remember that time. I never got an Xbox or anything, so I didn't play Halo. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people that we knew definitely had it.
Mm-hmm. The Sounders marketing didn't work because I've always been a PlayStation guy. So I've had PS3, PS4, probably getting PS5.
Yeah.
So.
But the Xbox logo was kind of cool on the Sounders jersey. I thought it fit really well. I mean, still here now.
Yeah, we really ruined it.
Yeah.
We literally totally ruined it. you like the one? Oh, point wrong way. Do you like the one behind me, Ryota?
Yeah.
Remember that one?
That's a nice one.
Yeah, Drew, Ryota got me. It's a Jordan Morris game or practice worn practice jersey. Ryota got for me from his Sounders days.
Nice. There we go.
Let's see. Anything else? Oh, I also looked up. Incredibles won Best Animated Feature at the Academy Awards. So that was kind of so just came out back then.
That was Incredibles just came out that then.
Well, I think so, right? Because if it's in the Academy Awards for 2005, it must have been like 2004 or early 2005.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Incredibles 2 was really good too. I really liked that one, so I'm glad they finally made it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Took him long enough.
Anything else? Lance Armstrong won his 7th straight Tour de France before his scheduled retirement. We could probably talk about that eventually in some future segments, about PEDs and stuff like that.
That aged poorly.
Yeah. Hurricane Katrina also hit in 2005. We all know what that did. Yeah, Drew, any others? That's all I had.
I mean, yeah, I think that's all. I mean, obviously not everything, but the big things.
Yeah, some of the sports things. So.
Oh yeah, one more thing. Sorry, I have 2 more things actually for college football and college basketball.
Okay.
UNC beat out Illinois in the national championship. Andrew Bogut won Player of the Year, and I think he goes on to be the #1 pick.
Yeah, Utah.
In football, from Utah. Also, a fun fact is Alex Smith was the #1 pick, I think, and he went to Utah. So, Yeah, so USC Trojans versus the Texas Longhorns in the Rose Bowl. This was the big national championship game. I bet you guys all know about it and like how they go undefeated, both teams, and it's pretty massive. I mean, you have the Heisman Trophy and Reggie Bush with Pete Carroll still there talking about that.
And Vince Young, I think, was a runner-up. I think it was like that was like a big deal.
And then I mean, Vince Young goes off and he wins.
That game's crazy.
Yeah, that was. I mean, talk about favorite moments. I think that goes down in sports history, especially for college football, as a pretty big moment. A few years later, Reggie Bush gets dissociated by USC for the allegations, and then that ends up Pete Carroll has to leave because of that. But I mean, those teams were stacked. The USC teams with Carroll were stacked.
I think everybody remembers Vince Young running that ball into the end zone. That's just like such an iconic moment in sports. Like just like I can't tell you like what like if that was like a scramble or if that was like a design run, how much time was left on the clock. Like what I just everyone just remembers him just running in the corner of the end zone.
He'll tell you it's a scramble. He'll tell you I had no idea. Just I put my team on the back and went for it. But yeah,
that was crazy.
It was but yeah, that's all I think I have. I mean, that was pretty massive in itself for the football game. But yeah.
Okay, well, that's our final note for our new segment, Look Back at It, featuring Boogie with the Hoodie. No, we're not actually featured by him, we just called it that. Yeah, maybe this will be a cool segment to do again with a different year. But yeah, let's see. I think that's it. Thanks for listening. Thanks, Willie.